Hey, what's happening, babies? What's going on? What's shaking? What's popping? What's crack-a-lacking? It's yours truly, me, Miss B. So happy to have you here with me tonight. Welcome to Raw Talk, Real Ass Women Talk, with yours truly and my girlfriend, Peggy. Tonight, our special guest met, fell in love, and got married after meeting online. Can you find real love online? The answer to that question and more next on Raw Talk. Hey, what's going on, babies? Welcome to the show. Girlfriend Peggy, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing tonight, girlfriend? Let's get working.
All right. It's hump day. It's time to get over the hump. Yes, it is. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Raw Talk. We are so happy to have you in the virtual building with us tonight. We are excited because all month long, we have been talking about love and relationships and how people get together and make it work and all of those good things, because that's what we are all about. This show is about relationships by adults, for adults, with adults. And tonight we have two wonderful adults joining us who have some experience. But in the meantime, girlfriend Peggy, what's been going on with you?
Girl, all the usual. A lot of writing going on. I just took some time out today to go and pamper myself and get my nails done and just.
Let me see. They're pretty.
Yeah, something simple but nice.
Yes, very classy.
You got to treat yourself. You got to love on yourself a little bit. So I decided to do that for my Valentine's.
That's good. Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to love on myself real hard for Valentine's. Are you kidding? Yeah. I'm going to do it for me like I want him to do it for me, but I'm going to do it for me until he gets here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it warm for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Keep it hot and juicy. Just waiting for him. And, we've been talking about online dating because my dear love, my dear friend, Peggy said, I don't think that online dating is for me. She said, I think people just like that, for the hookup. I don't know. She said, I'm not too keen on that. How are you feeling these days, Peggy?
Excuse me. I'm still hearing all the information. I'm still weighing in. I'm still a little leery. Still lounging by the pool, in the dating pool. I'm not in there yet. I'm not in the water yet. Just kind of chilling and relaxing. Like I said, kind of enjoying myself. I like being by myself. I enjoy me. I love me. So who better yet to spend my time with than me until comes along. So I'm still I just want to hear what everybody have to say, and then I'm gonna kind of take my time and get in there a little bit.
Okay, well, we have two experts with us tonight. So, show your love for Shoshona and Donald, the Prices. Mr. and Mrs. Price, how are you tonight?
All right.
Good. How are you ladies doing?
Oh, wonderful. We are just so happy to have you with us. This is great. I found love in the club with Shoshona. So next week we'll be talking about can you find love in the club? And I'll say yes. Because I found love with you in the club.
Girlfriend, you found so many loves in the club with your girlfriends.
That's what I'm talking about.
They're uncountable. They are uncountable. And they're all amazing women. They all fabulous, got it going on, beautiful, spirited women. And they just, they all really are.
Really and truly, when you think about it, when you think about our circle, the circle of people who you hang out with now, these are some fabulous people.
Yeah.
wonderful couples, wonderful people to know. So it's a beautiful thing. And Mr. Price, how are you tonight, sir?
I am good. I am
Yes,
good.
you are. Yes, you are. And so you get love as because Shoshona gets love, then you get love because we love who she loves.
Okay.
We love who she loves.
Work.
When she's happy, when our girlfriends are happy and feeling good and being well taken care of by a real man, baby, ain't nothing but love.
True. So
Yeah.
true.
Don't let it mess up though, because we will call a committee meeting.
We all did. We have a whole lot of sisters to pull off.
Ladies.
A committee meeting. Oh my God. You don't want the council to come together on your ass. You don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. But no, just absolutely great. So, just tell us some of the tell us where you started. Shoshona, we'll start with you because I know you. And I know that you spent some time, that online dating wasn't, you weren't afraid of it. And you took your time and went through the motions. So what is it? How do you get started? What makes you say, okay, I'm going to try this?
Somebody
Well, just because most of the time, once you get 50 or plus, you no longer have friends that have eligible bachelors. They usually have some cousin or someone that has been married, maybe has kids, maybe been divorced, has some issues per se. So there's not like this pool of guys that you can choose from, like when you were in college or younger. So my thing was to go online. I put some pictures out there, see some pictures of them, see what they think is important that they put in their profile, and then I can choose from there. And then just start a conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How long did you do that before you were blessed with meeting Donald?
Well, I was off and on. So, you think you found someone, you date a little bit, but then you find out nice guy, but not for me for full time or for forever.
Okay.
So I found a lot of guys that wasn't my forever. So what I would call it was meetups. I was meet up with someone once, you start talking for maybe a couple of days, have some significant conversation of at least some similar interests. But
okay.
The thing was to meet in a populated place, a public place, but where you can still have conversation. So I like sports. So I used to pick sports bars at happy hour. That way, I could pay for my own bill and no one would feel obligated. But most of the time, if it was a gentleman, he would pick it up, the tab. But if I ran out of conversation because he didn't have any, I could look up at the screens and go, last night, let's talk about that. So
yes.
To try to find something that you have in common that at least could draw out some conversation. And as you're talking, you may go into other topics and be able to just have some interest in dialogue so that you can create the atmosphere of when it was old school and you would talk on the phone or you would just meet outside on the stoop and you would talk instead of just immediately going into something that was more romantic.
Listen, I hear that Brooklyn coming out of you. That nobody else don't know about no stoop.
Oh my God.
We were in Florida and they on the porch. They eating on the porch. We met on the stoop.
I wasn't even on the stoop. We was on the bench because I lived in
the bench.
We was on the benches outside of the building. So I picked it up and said stoop, but was not a stoop. But anyway, sometimes you have to go back old school.
Yeah.
Talk, create that dialogue, create some common interests that you can have, it lead into more conversation instead of just So what you like in bed and how I'll rock your world. You don't want
I hate that.
So I was not on Tinder per se, just because Tinder was more at that time was more of a hookup. So when Don and I met, it was actually a small window of time. I went on to Plenty of Fish. He just happened to be on there, and I had just recently did the big chop, cut all my hair off, and just was going natural, and my hair was maybe 1 inch long. So I updated all my pictures because I wanted to make sure no one could say I was catfishing them.
Okay.
That's the other thing I wanted to just put out there. Be you, be the authentic you. That way they can't say you changed. So sometimes, women, we have all different hairstyles and we change them.
No, you have all different hairstyles. You, Shoshona, are the queen of hairstyle changing. Like, period. Those are facts.
But we
had a little
we need to get them that variety, but we don't want to get them used to just this is what her hair looks like. So I wanted to be authentic with that. And so I put short hair, I put braids, so I put a variety, but at the same time, I wanted them to be able to see, just like now, I don't have on any makeup except for a little bit of lip gloss, lipstick, but that's me. So I was like, I'm not going to say
that is you authentically. You never wore a lot of makeup. The only time I've ever seen you with makeup was on your wedding day.
Yeah,
and you kept it natural. Even on that day.
Because I told Stephanie, I said, Stephanie, I want him to know
Stephanie
who's at the altar. So I was like, don't change me. And she's an expert makeup artist, but I was do enough that it's a special day effect. But anyway, just going online and just putting up a profile that reflects who you are, what you're looking for, what you striving to get to, wherever that is. Some people are going towards marriage, some people are not, but just be okay with saying where you are in your life at that point. But not giving so specific, like some women like, if you think I'm gonna do this, don't hit me up. If you do this, don't hit me up. Don't. And so I'm like, that sounds so negative. So it's like, put your best foot forward.
Okay. All right. Point well taken. Now, the precaution that you took was to meet in public. Were there any other precautions? Like, how do you vet somebody who you are talking to online? What's the matter, Donald? What did she do? Did she run like a criminal check and credit check on you? What did she do, Donald?
I did that. See, everybody has it kind of twisted that the ladies have to be precaution, but I was a big advocate, and I still watch it, First 48. And they always killing somebody, setting them up and taking them out. So no, there was a whole bunch of precautions that I took. So yeah, don't get it all twisted one way. There was a couple of different ways that you vetted.
Nowadays everything is on the internet. So if you're on social media, it comes up on your internet. My name is very different. Mm-hmm. So when you type in my name, it comes up where I work,
how long you work there.
How long I work there. So he had some idea if someone can work that long in that particular job, they probably, are someone that's loyal and stuff like that, stable. So,
responsible.
Yes. And at the same time, I looked him up, and I also asked him for a copy of his driver's license and his divorce decree and his passport. Do you?
No problem.
And he sent them over to me, no problem. Yes.
No problem. Okay.
So sometimes like with him and I, we just had old school. We chatted online for a little bit, got comfortable with that, and then we gave out phone numbers, and then we talked on the phone.
Well, I had to give her my name first.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah.
Because we had been chatting and texting back and forth. And she was like, hey, you want to meet up? And I said, oh, by the way, my name is Don.
Oh, wow.
Neglected to give him, because the conversation was so good, I never went back. I mean, because on Plenty of Fish, you just have a screen name. So it's not necessarily your full name.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. You have to school us because we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not your name. They won't know your name. They won't know your phone number until you give it to them. So I believe my screen name was Brooklyn Girl. So of course we had to then introduce ourselves to the real name, but his conversation was so good and not
that's right.
cliche. He wasn't a player. Yeah. He wasn't a player. So I so that's what made me look at his profile. And what's in your profile is actually very important.
Yeah.
Like that's where you set the tone of almost your first meet. So you want to make sure that you put in some of the things that are important to you. Like I love to travel. I love to eat and discover new food items. So that was in my profile. So
Mine too.
yeah, and that was in his. So that was another thing that once we did discover in our profiles that we had something similar, then the conversation had a conversation starter, so that's a good thing. And I like to talk. I like to talk.
Yes. Now, does he like to dance as much as you do?
Nobody can do that.
Can anybody keep up with me?
Well,
yeah.
Me. But yeah. Okay, all right. But hey, 3 ain't bad.
No.
I'll dance a couple and I'll go sit down.
And see, and that's the thing of you don't have to have everything in common, but some of the basic things, some of the important things you should have in common. Like, as we were talking, we did realize that we both wanted something serious if that was the person. Mm-hmm. So we both knew that we were leading towards marriage. And I was always saying, because, I have been married 2 times already prior to that. So I said, 3rd time is the charm and it's married to life. The only way you get out of it is if you die or I kill you.
Either way, you're going to be dead.
I said, I'm not getting another divorce. So one way or the other.
Well, that is too funny. Well, we definitely want to shout out all of the folks who are joining us tonight. What's up, San and Daryl and Coco, Catherine Coco Hurd and her man. Who were with us last week, and they're in the building. Got to say hi to my friend Benjamin Jones. He's in the building. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you have a question, you can certainly let us know. Hey, Mr. Spring. All right, we got it going on for real. So thank you all so much for joining us. We're having a good time and getting some really good information from you, Shoshona. That really helps. So that you be your authentic self. Meet in a public place and take some time on the phone, have some conversation, and get to know each other before you meet up, because you can know in a conversation whether or not you want to do that. Hey, Tight Mike says, don't kill him. He said, please don't kill him. Tight Mike in the building. Congratulations to you getting ready to celebrate his, I think, 20-year anniversary of doing comedy. So he has a show coming up in Orlando at the Improv next week. Put it up on the screen for me, Tight, so we can let everybody know. And make sure that they support you, because we love comedy. We love you. And you've been holding it down in Orlando. You know what I'm saying? We have a good time. And also Tight Mike and Essex, the actor, they have their own YouTube show that airs on Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on YouTube. It's called Acting Funny because one is an actor and one is a comedian. Ain't that cute?
Yeah, that's
Hi, Willie. Willie Starr, all the way from Texas, building, you know, we like that. And so that's all good. All right, Tight Mike's 20-year comedy anniversary. Was I right? Is it next Wednesday at Improv? Let me know, Tight. Inquiring minds want to know. But Shoshone, you gave us some really good information. And what it sounds like to me is you can't be shy. You know, this ain't nobody playing no game.
You can be shy if that's who you are, but at the same time, you're looking to meet somebody. The only way for them to know you is for you to talk. So at some point, you do have to, you know, maybe get out of your comfort zone and just open up. If you want someone to give you their real self, then you have to present your real self to them and make
When I say don't be shy, I mean, you can't be afraid to say, well, you know, I'd like to have a copy of your driver's license. I'd like to, you know, I'd like to check you out, and I'm open, you know, for you to do the same, you know, and go from there. And to say too, hey, I'm looking to have this is not a hookup. I'm looking for a real relationship. You know, so Don, when you first went on, had you been on any other dating sites other than Plenty of Fish where you all met up?
No, I was on Plenty of Fish, but I had been in different cities with my job. So when I went back to Florida, it was kind of like I had a small window before I was headed down to South Florida to work. I think it was Hurricane Irma. Yeah. And so we talked about that, you know, hey, if I was getting ready to go, because I was an hour away from Orlando from the very beginning.
Okay.
And our meetup, when she texted me on the meetup, where the meetup at, she popped up with, I think it was an IHOP, but she had the address so fast in the phone. And I was like, do you work at IHOP? I know the address. And so she was like, no, it's just around. I pulled it up, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, all right, I'll meet you there. And that was supposed to be for breakfast. So I'm, like I said, I'm an hour and actually 10 minutes away, but I find my way over here. And then we meet up in IHOP and the conversation is still good. We laughing at, I wanted pigs in the blanket and they bought me, which is a deconstructed pigs in the blanket. But anyway, so we were laughing, and that conversation from that morning lasted till that afternoon, till she had a barbecue that she had to go to. And then I had to drive back for another hour, but we agreed to meet back up. But I told her, you know, I was going down south, plus I had to go to Texas, back home to Texas to take care of some business. So it was just like bam, bam, bam. So like I said, the windows were really, really slim. But like she said, because we had already discussed our likes, dislikes, where we were headed, and our mindset was, okay, I'm not going to be just dating. You know, I need somebody who's strong enough to know that when I'm gone to work. I'm not gone, you know, to have fun. And so we did all of that in a quick, short amount of time. So that was, so even on the POF, I stated I did the categories that I didn't want. I didn't want any more babies.
You ain't trying to ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody.
No, I don't want to be grandpa daddy. So we were just on different. We were on. I mean, and I'll just put it in analogy. We were in the same Honda. We were in one accord. So
okay. All right. I feel you, my brother, with your poetic self. And that's a good thing, especially in the business that you're in. Don is an insurance adjuster. So when there's a major catastrophe, he could be in any city. He could even be in another country. You could be, because sometimes they want you to go to Puerto Rico or Bahamas or you know, wherever like that, and you're gone for a long time. Mm-hmm. It can be indefinite.
And the beauty about it was we talked about that, and we talked, okay, if I'm gone, are you able to come visit? So even like when I was in South Florida, she'd come down one week, I'd come up a weekend. And then when I went to Canada, she came up to Canada with me while I was working up in Canada. So it's just a variety of different things.
Oh yeah, we follow your travels now. This is what I want to know. When are you all going to start your own travel channel on YouTube?
I keep telling her.
Travel and food.
I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. How do you start that? But yeah, I'm interested in doing like a blog of different things because I love food, I love travel. I have Queenie. It's so many things that I could blog about, or so
Yes, there are.
I'm gonna look into that, definitely. Yeah, partying.
Because we're partying. Okay, come on now. Don't hold that against us.
RV, yeah, RV.
The RVing is, and see, that's a whole another lifestyle thing that you started.
Yes.
So you have a lot of avenues that you could utilize, and you do it naturally. You love to take pictures. So you love to take pictures, you love to post. It just is a natural thing.
And that's not necessarily Don's thing, but because he knows why I do it. Growing up, I don't have a lot of childhood pictures. So now that's like my thing is to take a lot of pictures. So he understood that. I explained that to him. So that's the other thing as you're getting to know each other online. A lot of these conversations come up so much more naturally because it seems like sometimes when people get in front of each other, they freeze up. They think they have to have like this persona or, all of this different exciting conversation. Whereas when you're just either texting or on the phone, it just kind of happens. Like one conversation leads to another. And because you're not right in front of them, you tend to open up a little bit more. So that's why I tell everybody, maybe just talk, just wherever those lines of communication that's open, just use them before you go in front of each other, because then it seems like the physical becomes more of the thing that's in the forefront versus getting to know each other just through the old school style of talking. So we did that. So we got to know each other. And that's why our natural progression was so easy, I think, and smooth when we did get in front of each other. Just like when he first asked me to come there, initially, like him, I watched First 48 and Criminal Minds. I was like, wow, you just told him you can come into Miami to see him. And so, and that's when I asked for the driver's license and all of that, just to make sure somebody knew where I was going and who he was and stuff.
But who you were with, yes.
But mind you, I had a guy who was working in that area with me about 15 minutes away, and I did this. This is who's coming.
He did the same thing.
Okay.
So
all right.
That's the other thing to women. Sometimes we put so many conditions on stuff because we think it just affects us. And it actually affects them just as much. He's just as scared of me and then it going wrong or something major happens. And we don't think of that as women. So sometimes we need to be specific, talk enough. If you're not comfortable, then don't go. But at the same time, a lot of times we think if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't, it's so many conditions that we put on it that it comes out negative. Mm. That automatically, who wants to get with somebody negative, especially if you've been with, with other people in the past and it was a negative ending? Why are you now bringing it forward? So right. If you're already negative and putting these conditions, you don't listen to how you sound. And in words, it's just black and white. So when you're doing your profile or even as you're talking, if you're not listening to yourself, you might be coming across very negative, and you wonder why he doesn't call you back, or, you know, why you're not making that connection is because you're being, you know, not who you are. Because a lot of women are very nice, very open, very pleasant to other women, but when they get with guys, they're a little bit more negative.
But the guy's perspective, you have to be
Is it
more.
negativity or is it guarded?
It's both. It's both.
It's
But-
both. Because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
women tend to try to be cautious
Not
and kind of guard themselves a little bit and take extra precautions, and you know.
But when they write their profiles, and as I'm talking, as I was dating, I was also talking to other people that were dating online, because that's another thing that I'm like, oh, I could talk about online dating. So that could be a blog. But they were giving me what they said and what they told him. He need to take them to this restaurant, like Eddie V's. Eddie V's is a special restaurant.
It's for a special occasion for a special person.
That's
I
not
love
that's,
that, baby.
that's not a first meeting restaurant, especially if you're
No.
to pay. So, but their intention was he needs to pay. If he doesn't pay on the first date, then he's not, you know, he's not worthy. Worthy or what? So, so that's why I said sometimes the expectations are a little high. So that's what we need to be careful of. You should have some, because I had another girlfriend that told me she only meets at Wawa, because she just wants to meet and
To get gas?
to get not for him to pay for gas, just meet at the gas station. Then if she don't like him, she could just go. And I was like, wow. So that means you didn't vet him. You didn't talk to him. You didn't find out any who wants to meet at a gas station?
That's somebody who just wants to see what you look like, you know, see what you're driving,
That's
and
it.
what you
Yeah, and just a little bit of negative, like she brought some past hurt. So she was trying to protect herself from being hurt. So she said, well, I won't have to worry about if he's going to pay for dinner or not. Well, why don't you just come with your own money? That way, if he doesn't pay, you have your money to pay. So I was like, there's so many things that we can do as women that we can make that dating situation a little bit easier
Just-
for ourselves, not for necessarily the guy, but for at least for ourselves. Don't bring in the past. Like, start fresh. This is day one.
Yeah, you got to know yourself.
Mhm.
And, you know, I know she needed more than just, hey, gorgeous, in the text, you know, hi, beautiful. I needed something with substance. And then from there, we just kept building on it. So every morning when I had my hour-long drive to go to my first appointment, I was on the phone with her. When I finished up the day or in between appointments, I was basically calling her to let her know I'm going to the next one and so forth. So the talk and conversation was more about, hey, this, and this. And then it just became pretty soon, you just know, oh, it's 11 o'clock. I need to get off the phone. I got to get up.
Yeah.
Sleepy getting on the roof.
Yeah.
But you don't want to fall off the roof, Donald.
No.
I've seen you up there. I've seen you up there walking around. I said, "Oh my God!" But but by doing that with her, you build trust.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Build up a certain sense of trust. You know,
Yeah.
it says that this person is responsible. They're dependable. They really like me, because who's going to talk to you that much if they don't really if they don't have a true interest in you? And
Exactly.
it built trust there. That little foundation. You started laying it out early, because you both went online searching because you had you went with the intention of trying a committed monogamous relationship right from the beginning. Am I right?
Yes.
Right. And see, and I tell her, the one person that I basically text and told her, because I think she said she wanted to get married, and in one of the texts, and then I wrote out a paragraph. Well, first we need to find out if we have like interests, and I just went on and on and on and on. She never texted me back after that. So obviously that was not that was not where it needed to be. Whereas
Whereas we had more as it came up conversation. So sometimes you don't even know what's important to you until you start talking to the person and then realize, oh, okay, yeah, that's going to be something that, especially with his line of work, him being out of town, he needed to know that, can I travel? Am I okay with him being out of town? Do I trust someone, that's, so all of those conversations came up as he was driving to his next gig or whatever. So that's why I said sometimes just having conversations, stuff that you don't even know that you need to know, is something that will come up in conversation versus me just going in front of him in person. Now I'm looking at his beard and I'm looking at his brown eyes and I'm all like, woo.
All googly.
Yeah. And so that conversation doesn't get to that, or you get a little shy. You like, well, I don't want to talk about that. But as we were texting or actually on the phone, I was able to just be a little bit more adventurous in my questions of asking him about different stuff, like about his family. How's your family relationship? Because that's the thing. My family is very important to me as his. So I wanted to know, do you have a good relationship with your family?
Yeah. Because your family goes with you wherever you go. Auntie, cousin, everybody is there.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on.
But you also want to know if you have a mama's boy that can't make decisions for himself or something. It's some loving little things that you're probably thinking to yourself, like, I'm an independent woman. I don't want somebody that's not as independent as I am. So some things are, my kids are all I think about, those, which should come first. I understand that. As well as, but where will I fit into your life? And that's the important question. How can I fit into your life that you have going now? Especially since I'm not planning to come in and just completely change it around. I'm just to it.
How do we mesh?
Yes. How do we mesh?
Yeah. Now, you each had an opportunity to date other people before you met each other.
Yes.
So, Donald, what was we know that the best date ever was with Shoshona. So what was the worst date ever?
You kind of block it out your head. But
it's so tragic.
It was a meetup. It was a meetup, and they were going to exchange some clothes. Yeah.
Okay, so we protect some names and circumstances.
Okay. Other than that,
we don't know who he knows that might know, and they might be watching. So
okay. But suffice it to say, it wasn't good.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
I got you. So now, listen, I might get in trouble for this. I just have to take a chance. Okay. Now, so Donald, I told you about the committee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at some point in your dating, Shoshona, you all took a cruise. Right around this time. Didn't you take like a Valentine's Day cruise or something?
Yeah.
So she comes back. She comes back from the cruise, the next Friday. We had happy hour, getting it in. And she said and Stephanie is my witness. She said it to me and Stephanie. She said, I met my husband. I am going to marry this man. Did you know that?
No, I mean, she told me, but I told her beforehand, if we can get along on this cruise, being in this little cabin where we had a balcony suite. So, but if we don't fuss and fight, because I've been on some where you just want to toss somebody overboard.
Uh-oh.
But we had so much fun and so many surprises on that cruise. And it was like, okay, this is the one. Because it just kept building and building and building. I mean, even beforehand, though, going on the cruise, I didn't know she wanted us to match or color kind of semi-coordinate so that when we take pictures from the cruise, we're not looking raggedy.
Well, I knew that unless something dire happened, we were going to be together.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew that these cruise pictures could be up on my family room wall someday. So I was like, okay, so on Monday night, I'm wearing red and black. So I need you to match that up. And then on Tuesday,
and to the cat, I'm wearing blue. The cat ball.
So he just was amazed at how detailed I was as far. But I just said, I just want us to match. You don't have to wear the same colors. We don't need to be identical. But at the same time, I also knew that these pictures might be forever. So I said, well, this is just how I do things. I try to plan. I'm a planner. So he took it in stride.
I was just more interested in the booze bags.
So, but yeah, as you're online dating, that's the other thing is I make sure, because for me, travel is very important. You don't have a passport, then are you planning on getting one? Or, if you just, I only travel.
The person might be afraid of flying.
Yes, exactly.
They might have a fear of flying. They might be uncomfortable for one reason, for any number of reasons.
You go, do you like cruises, or do you like to travel like road trips? So to me, it wasn't so much the conveyance of how we travel. It was just to get and see other places. So to me, that's a person with imagination, and also that's adventurous. So that's an important part. So that's why I said when women have so many conditions, they need to know what really is important to them. So when you go online, the questions or what you're putting out there is also for yourself. It's like, if you're not willing to do something, then why are you making that a condition on what the guy is supposed to do?
So travel was big on my profile. I needed somebody that could go outside the states, travel.
Look, that could go outside the states, meaning they're not on parole.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, because certain things you can't get into Canada.
I mean, that's one of the things that you need to talk about. Like, I don't need to know your whole past. As it comes up, you give it to me. But at the same time, there are some things that's important to you, that's important to me, and that's online. You don't get that in the profile. A profile is kind of a very small snapshot of the person. Mm-hmm. Now, what you need to do is what you would do in any type of situation of meeting someone is to ask those questions and get those answers. And then also a feel of how open they are, willing to give you some information is a little bit more as you get to know them. Like, what happened in your marriage? Why did y'all break up? Wait, hold up. I don't know you like that. So I can understand. But some things, what's your favorite color? Do you know? What do you like to eat? What do you like to do?
That profile is very important in that if I read your profile, I got a snapshot, and now I can pick little pieces and find out more conversation as to, okay, you like to travel. Okay, where have you been? Other than Vegas, California, or something, where have you been when you say you like to travel? Or how did you go about traveling? Did you like cruising? Did you like going to a all-inclusive and so forth? And then from that point forward, you just keep building and building and building. Yeah. So those blocks are
until you get to Madrid.
No.
Actually, now Barcelona. We love Barcelona. So now I'm like, oh, even Portugal. But at the same time, those things that you put in your profile is it's just really a snapshot,
Mhm.
but like kind of put your best foot forward. Because I don't know what to put on my profile that's going to attract my soulmate. It just happened to work out. But I put that enticed him to, because he said he went past me a couple of times, but my smile coming back. So he kept it wasn't swiping left or right, but it was kind of more like as you scroll up on POF, I kept coming back. It kept suggesting me for him. So, yay, POF.
They need to pay y'all for sure. Coco, of course, is in the building. She said the profiles are like an introduction of a book, a chapter, really, a book.
Page.
An index. It's going to
Yeah.
just be the index, and then from there you go into the chapter and start reading the chapter.
Yeah. Almost like the foreword.
Yeah.
Or something. It's just a little snapshot of a little bit about the person. But as you talk to them and see what questions you want to ask or how does that conversation. But my thing is just a lot of times we want to skip some steps. The attraction is nice. I love the way he looks, but
and that helps too. Like on that first meeting, you get to see the person physically. You get to see how they dress. You get to see if their fingernails are clean. Come on now.
We asked him his birthday, but I have some doozies.
Yeah, she had a worst date.
Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of nice people, but not my forever people. And that's the way I looked at it. It was like everybody that's nice, everybody that's on paper, they don't pull that same out of you. And if this is going to be forever, you want that person that, you all in with every inch of you. So my worst date was just somebody that yelled at me. And I'm like looking at him like, are you serious? Yeah. I mean, we went on Sunrail on a date. I thought that was a unique thing to do. Sunrail had just started. He was like, well, we're going to leave our cars. We're going to meet up and we're going to go on Sunrail, go to restaurants and bar hop. So we did that. But during the course of that date, he got upset because I took a phone call. Like not even a 5 minute, it didn't last that long. I said, I'm going to take this and then I'm going to explain to you what it was about, even though I didn't have to. He actually got so mad. He was like, I thought it was all about us, and started yelling at me and then pushed the bill towards me. And you said, you take care of this.
Oh.
I said, oh no, what I will take care of, because then that's when Brooklyn came out. What I will take care of is my portion of this bill, and then you can have your portion of this bill, and I can get back on some pass, and I can go back to where I came from. And a little, I didn't curse, I didn't get loud because I don't believe in that in restaurants. But we got to the Sunrail platform, and he just wouldn't let it go. And I was like, wow, I thought he was going to hit me. That's how mad he got. Yeah.
And that tells
And that's the person.
That was
a
non-welcome bell going off. That was
the next day
instant cut.
Yeah, he had anger management and some issues. He rang my door the next day. I had not told him where I lived. So, yes, be very careful when you date online that you make sure you're telling someone that knows you that where you're going and how long you expect to be out, so that if you do not come back, they know where to start looking for you. Yeah. But yeah, he showed up. He rang the doorbell, left the teddy bear. He wasn't at the door, but at the same time, I never told him where I lived.
Did the teddy bear have eyes, or did it?
Yes. It was a very nice. It was a nice teddy bear and a card that just said, "I thought we had a love connection. We was gonna get a lot of love stuff." That I was like, "This was." So I just,
it's bipolar.
Yeah, I just texted him, and then after that, I never heard from him again. I told him, please leave me alone. I know people. It's like, yeah, I know people. So
A word to the wise is sufficient.
yes. So, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you believe what people say, but you should also have a little bit of, backup. Let people know when you go to a public place. Have lots of conversation till you feel comfortable. Don't let anybody pressure you into a situation that you don't feel comfortable. Beginning, it's a
Because
different.
you done already made Peggy uncomfortable. Now you done said the man came to your house and he didn't have your address. So I know she ain't gonna do that online now.
I met many really nice men, but they just wasn't like the connection wasn't full. So I just kind of, and some of them are still friends. I mean, so I didn't meet, to me, I didn't have but that one experience. And even that he, as soon as I told him leave me alone. Yeah, he was, yeah. So yeah. But
Coco said she had a stalker too. So that's possible.
I said, yeah.
You can be a stalker on any platform. Whether you come through on your Facebook page, a DM,
personal acquaintance,
at the gas station, at the grocery store. You can meet a stalker anywhere.
Yeah.
That's why I was in the business of vetting her.
Coco say sound like the one she met.
So just to make sure, because I mean it works both sides of the the street. Not just for the ladies, but for the guys as well. That you can get that cray lady, and that winds up being, think about it. If she comes by or whatever, and there's knives in the kitchen.
All Donald knows is that he does not want to die at the hands of a dater.
When I went to Miami, my first real meet, in person and away from home, I went and so I told him, I said, well, I'll cook because I know you got to work tomorrow, and then I'll make some spaghetti. I thought he kept looking in the kitchen because he just kept wanting to see me because I was so beautiful. But like, that's where the knives were. And so he was looking in the kitchen because he just wanted to make sure, okay, she didn't turn crazy or nothing.
I was sitting on the couch.
Just watching.
But
did you show up packing, Donald? Were you strapped?
It was in the couch. It was right there in the couch.
I mean, as women, we don't think like that. We don't think that the guys have to protect themselves from crazy women either. So we just think it's have to be protected from them. So that's why I said we put a lot of conditions on stuff that if you're not willing to do the same thing, then why do you have a condition for someone else?
Yeah, because until you get comfortable with that person, you shouldn't be. I mean, even remember, this is still dating, and things change from when I used to date way back when to when I was back dating. The whole game was different.
Yeah. And
so, I wanted somebody that could take back to the old school style of dating and not this new age, because, my hood skills aren't what they used to be.
And the Dallas hood skills. My hood skills are Brooklyn. So that's a whole different. But and so with the differences, there was so much, so much stuff that we had in common, or that we liked about each other that could mesh with each other. So that's the thing, is give it a chance. If you don't like this person, then you say, thank you, but I believe that we could, we'd be better as friends, and you move on. So everybody's there for you. Yeah. And that's what you need to think of. I think a lot of people go online thinking in their mind they have the end result is to get married. Well, first you have to go through the whole dating and then the whole getting to know each other. I mean, everything still applies the same way it would with anything else. And so
grocery store.
Yeah, you
It's the
can't
same-
skip
same
those
thing.
steps. And that's why I think people try to skip those steps, but a lot of it just happens online. So just know, just because that's what he told me is not necessarily the truth. You try to put enough together to make sure that, yeah, that kind of, all right, that, yeah, from what he said he has 2 kids, and looking online, I see that he has 2 kids that he posted on Facebook. I mean, so you go through those necessary motions, but that's up to you to, to get comfortable before you really get involved or give your heart away.
Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, you need to get some receipts on a few things.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me
You
ask,
know.
how did you guys have a first argument, and did that kind of give you an indication of he's a good communicator? He knows how to respectfully, get his point across without going too far to the left and yelling and screaming to me out and calling me every name under the sun, because for me, that's big. If you, I don't mind having a confrontation, or I call it, like I say, it's a conversation. Let's figure out what's the solution. That's what we want to figure out. We're not trying to see who's right and why you were right. What are we going to do to make sure it don't happen the next time? What are we going to do to make this situation better? Or are you going to argue me down and just like, really?
I'm
I
gonna
think
put
that's
that
a deal breaker.
because I'm the more Brooklyn, so it's more me. Could he
I don't-
deal with me?
Again, I don't really argue, and I don't curse. So calling you out your name is not going to be, that's not going to come out of me. But I hate arguing. I've been in relationships where that's what it was. And so we talked about that up front too, that, I really don't like arguing. And I think I haven't.
So I can't really say we have argument.
Yeah.
We have discussions. We, obviously everybody's not going to be agreeable to everything, but the way that when we first start talking, we talked about how do we communicate, what don't we like. So that kind of gave us an indicator of what will fly with this person.
Mhm.
So just because this is how I communicated or argued with my previous relationship, that's not how he wanted it, and that's not how I wanted it. So you always go as the first day into a new relationship. So I think that's a thing that you discuss. And as you're discussing it, and like you said, Peggy, when real life comes along and you have an argument, how does he handle it? So with us, because he doesn't curse, that's not something I'm going to do. That's not going to make my point get across to him. I have to,
Right.
that's why I said
Mutual respect.
it's more of this is a question for him, because I had to make sure that I was communicating to him in a way that he would listen and not just have a block. And so that's why I say sometimes
Yeah.
to make sure what you give out is what you get back. So if you don't curse and yell, why are you accepting someone to curse and yell at you? Or so to me, that's an indicator that maybe this is not the relationship. But for him and I, we don't have that issue. We kind of just like talk
We
about
had a
things.
discussion about it, and
And you compromise and you
Yeah.
agree to disagree. I think that sometimes people don't realize that's also an end of a conversation. Sometimes you agree to disagree. So you gotta be real
That's part
grown.
of maturity, being
Real,
mature, and
like
that's
I say,
part of
I'm
being,
very
you know,
grown.
yeah, that's part of being a good communicator, is being able to resolve issues without having to go to 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah,
yes,
And a lot of people
Like
just
the
don't
other
get
gentleman
that.
on the foot rail did.
I'm the 0 to 100, and he's the. So I always tell him I'm the balloon that flies off into the sky, and he's he's the person that pulls the string on the balloon that brings it down. That's good. So
You gotta have that
believe
balance.
that.
Yes,
yes.
Miss.
You gotta have that good balance.
What you
So,
say, Shoshona?
I said, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we can get a little extra, and
Yes.
so. But at the end of the day, we had a conversation about this. I'm always in love, So if you know that I love you, everything I do towards you is going to be in love. So even if I might say something and I didn't mean it the way I said it, he knows that I said it at the end of it. It was love. So he can always just say to me, I didn't like how you said that.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, oh, babe, I didn't know that, because I always going to deal with him in love. So that's the thing, is sometimes you have to be very cognizant of, you might have did something wrong. Say sorry. I mean, that's two simple words. I'm sorry. So in a conversation, if you just want to end it.
See, and I don't even think it's learning to pick your battles.
Yeah.
It's still just that discussion part of the conversation, because in the end, how you say it, you needed to say it. You needed to get it off your chest. But how you said it to me might not have been the best way to say it.
So if he felt a certain way when I said something, then for me, it's always going to be, well, I don't want you to know how much I love you. So to tell you that I love you, I can say I'm sorry. And the same with him. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of other relationships, you didn't always get that I'm sorry that quickly.
Never
so wrong. That's why it's very important to pick up on that very quickly of, like you said, Miss Peggy, is how does that person communicate with you? And if it's at odds, then that's, you can try it a couple of times, but it's ultimately just going to rub you the wrong way. So to me, I'm trying to have serenity and peace and calm in my life. I have it on other aspects of my life. So why would I want it in a relationship where it's rocky, so no.
Right. You don't want to have to come home to that.
Yes. I'm supposed to be the peace, and he's supposed to be my calm. So if we're supposed to be the peace and calm to each other, then when we don't provide that for each other, we either need to go fix it or we need to just let it go. So online, I mean, you definitely find that out online when you're going back and forth just online, asking a couple of questions, how they answer those questions, what questions they don't answer. That's those yellow flags that should tell you, maybe not. Maybe he looks good, but maybe that's an act. Maybe what he wrote, somebody else wrote for him. So, sometimes you have to look at that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. Maybe someone else wrote
more than just your face. You can catfish your face, but you can also catfish your personality, because profiles is a combination of his guy friends, his girlfriends came together and told him, you should write this, but that's not really him. He didn't think of the right. So
That's true of itself, right?
Yeah. So as you're talking, you're also talking about that profile and then building on conversation from off of that to see if that profile was even authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's very insightful. So so number one is to be authentic when posting your profile. To take number two, to take time and have good in-depth conversation, and then decide to meet. And when you do, to meet in a public place. Both people need to make folks aware that they're going to meet someone and who it is, and then I guess from there to make sure that you can be compatible from that point on, just to start doing things to feel each other out and get to know one another better,
and not necessarily romantic things.
Right.
I mean, like if you met during this time frame and it's about to be Valentine's Day, then he might get you a card or something silly or something, but I wouldn't expect something too grand.
Right, because you're not there yet. You're not there yet. And so, and then I think point number 4 that I was looking for is that you can't be afraid to ask people for their credentials.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And
ask them some of the more not invasive questions, but more informative questions of, just some of the things that's important. Have you been married? Are you planning to be married again? Do you have a job? Do you have a car? This one guy came to the meetup and he had a backpack, and I said, well, why you got a backpack? Because to me, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe he thinks he's spending the night with me or something. But he said, oh, because on the bus it's just easier. What bus? The special bus? Or the Lynx bus?
Yes.
Not the short yellow bus.
But I never thought I had to ask somebody, do they have a car? And he had just went through a divorce. And so I guess, he was over literally and living with his mom, but he never thought that was important to say in the,
Wow.
so in the bag, because I didn't ask that question, but I mean, so I was like, well,
Because you can't pick me up on the bus.
no, and I'm not picking you up from Sanford on the bus. I mean, so I just was like, well, it was very nice to meet you, and I really enjoyed, happy hour, but I'm going to go now. And I wasn't trying to be superficial or whatever, but at the same time, we're in different places in our life. So let's just recognize that foremost. Find somebody you are compatible with, and not try to have to make them over or try to give them a little bit more than what they have. Like sometimes people, if you're a janitor, that's what you are. If you like to call your custodial technician or whatever.
Shut up. Listen, I can't with you tonight. We are not doing that. We are not doing that.
That conversation that happened should continue to happen in person. It should be an even flow. If it's not, if it's a struggle that person,
because some people can talk online. You can go back and forth, have banter, everything. Kiki. You meet in person, and it's like this alter ego. You're like, who is this? This is not who I was talking to. So, I mean, unless that's okay with you, if you're doing all the talking, like, as you see, I talk a lot. But I also know to me that if they can't have a conversation back, they're looking at the TV, they're looking everywhere but me. I was like, you know what? Thank you so much. But I'm going to go now.
No. I love you, but not happening, not doing it. And Shona, I love you so much. I want to thank you and Donald both for being here. It has been just absolutely fascinating watching your love story, watching you meet and grow and get married. And I think you just celebrated 2 years of marriage now?
Yeah. Going on 3, yay!
Going on 3. Yes. So, yes, congratulations. God bless you. Peggy, did you have any last questions for this wonderful couple before we bid them good night?
No.
Did you get all your questions answered?
I think Miss Peggy is an absolute candidate for online dating. You know why I say that? Because you your own mind. You're a grown-ass woman. You know how to talk, and you know how to know what's right for you. So I think that's the first good characteristics to have when you're going online is to know yourself. Not so much worried about the other person, but know what you're bringing to the table and what's being offered at that table. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It's okay. Because they can look paper. Yeah, it's okay. But I think you're a great candidate because you can talk, you can keep the conversation going, and you know your own mind. You know what you're looking for. Half the people, they don't know what they're looking for. They don't know if they want to hop in the sack. They don't know if they want to marry. They have no clue. So you got to sometimes just ask that question, and that maybe that's when they'll know their answer is like, well, with you, I think I want to have marriage be at the end result. But with some other people, they swipe left. So
have your girls vet them,
yeah,
just like the guys vetted.
yeah. Have your circle. Have your circle.
All right, then. Well, we'll certainly take note of all of that. It has been wonderful being with you. Pat Queenie on the head for me because
Yeah.
I know Queenie is close by. That was another thing y'all did together. Y'all got a dog together early on. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they are a couple.
That's
They
true.
are a couple for sure. So happy traveling, happy RVing. We love
Yeah.
watching you decorate the RV. And I know it's all decked out for Valentine's Day now. Christmas was beautiful on
Thank
the RV.
you.
No,
And
it's not. It's
What'd
parked.
you say?
The
parked.
RV is parked at the house for Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
But
you
you'll see
can
that on Facebook with what we do for Valentine's Day. So
okay.
the part we can show.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see. We can't wait to see. So thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate that greatly. You shared some very valuable information. You were transparent and it was just very informative. And we thank you so much for doing that with us tonight.
Thank you. We love you.
Love you
love.
guys.
Yeah, watch first
Love
48.
Watch First 48. We got you, Donald. Y'all take care.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Good night. Oh my goodness, they were delightful. Were they not just the best, girlfriend Peggy?
They were. They absolutely were. They look like they just perfect for each other. That's awesome. Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like I say, it's possible, right? That is possible. It is.
So what do you think? Is he an all-star? Where are our props for tonight? Girlfriend Peggy in charge of props. Yeah, so I'm sure Shoshona would say that Donald is her all-star. Yes. And what does the other one say? Oh, he got game.
You've got game. Or I would say we're gonna take a vote, and she picked the all-star player.
She picked an all-star player.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's in it to win it. He's in it to win it. He's a good guy, got a good head on his shoulder. He's through with the games. He's sure of himself. He knows who he is in life. He knows where he want to be. He's committed. He's not out here playing games. Seemed like a great guy, a great catch.
Yep.
Definitely all-star. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely an all-star.
And that's what women, mature older women, are looking for. All-star players. We're not looking for these little you got game little young boys, boys that are still out there deceiving women and playing games and smashing and dashing and all the nonsense that goes on. It's just tiresome and old. And we were I was asking some questions last week. I would think we got into a conversation after the show last week, about when do they ever get tired of the games and decide that it's time for them to get serious again and settle down into a serious relationship or marriage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think that happens at different times for different people. And sometimes a person can feel like they are ready, but they haven't met their match yet. So a man might be ready at 40 to do that, but he hasn't met his match yet. Or, or sometimes it happens later, but it happens at different times for different people. And for some people, it just never happens. It's just never their intention.
Right,
they are
content. Right.
They are content to
play games all day long. Mm-hmm.
Just get whatever they can get from whoever give it to them for as long as they can get it. And then when they can't get it anymore, then they have to move on. See you. I wouldn't want to be here. And so that's the way it goes. But I enjoyed that. So like I said, we know that you can go online, that you need to be forthright and honest. That your profile is like a snapshot of you. It should be interesting enough to catch someone's eye just list some things that you have a genuine interest in, hoping that someone who also shares those interests will take note of your profile and maybe talk to you. And of course, not to be afraid to ask the important questions. Make sure that you vet the person all the way. That means get their driver's license or a passport, something where you can check on them, friend them on Facebook so you can go through their page and see what they post and what they're about. You get a chance to see who their friends are, if they have any friends and family, and all of those sort of things, to meet in a public place and let people know what you're doing. And so they shared some really good stuff. And I never thought about somebody being able to catfish their profile.
Wow, yeah, I thought about that too, because a lot of them sounded like, a lot of the profiles sounded like, a lot of the return comments may sounded like you can pick A, B, or C, and maybe just pop something up there that takes something off of somebody else's page and put something together and make it look good. And who's gonna be the wiser until you, like you say, get the chance to meet the person and actually see if their receipts are good and if they are who they say they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could end up talking to somebody and he's like, oh, I don't like to go out of the country. I don't like to travel. Oh, well, in your profile, you said you love to travel and you've been, everywhere. So, what's up?
I said I like to travel, but I just want to go across town. I don't want to go across the Atlantic Ocean.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work.
Well, is it any less work when you meet somebody at a gas station or a grocery store?
No, it's less work because you have a conversation with them and then you can exchange numbers. If you want to exchange a number right there on the spot, you go, you talk a couple of times and then you take it step by step from that point. I like, personally, like I say, I like just meeting a person just wherever, out, about, the gas station, wherever, have enough... if you're going to stand across the room and just stare me down and look at me and, oh, why don't you, like, what's up? You're like, where are the real men? Where are the gentlemen that know how to come over and say, hello, hey, how you doing? I saw you from across the room. I know that you're a really pretty lady. Are you single? Are you involved? Are you married? What's your status? My name is so-and-so. What's yours? I'd love to get to know you. It's just as simple as that. I mean, if a man don't have
that for a confident man who has who is interested. I think the men who will look at you from across the room and who just want to oogle and Google at you, that's all they can do. They don't approach you because they know that they can't handle it, that they're not ready. And so you should be thankful that they stay over there on the other side of the room, because they would come over to you and just be annoying. They would be annoying. They wouldn't have any conversation, more than likely, or just wouldn't be able to say the right thing. I would say
a lot of times men do try to prejudge you, and they say you're high maintenance, so they figure you got your stuff together, or they may figure, she, a little sedity or whatever is because of the way you carry yourself, or because you're not out there on the dance floor twerking and carrying on and running around the club acting crazy, whatever it is. Then she high maintenance, or you're just not confident enough to step up. So you're right. A lot of times that saves a lot of trouble. Just stay over there.
Yeah, just go somewhere and sit your ass down.
That part, yeah.
Well, girlfriend Peggy, it was absolutely, it was fun. We had fun tonight. I'm still waiting for a confirmation from a couple of people about next week. So we know that we're going to be here next week, Wednesday night, live on Raw Talk, Real Ass Women Talk. Follow us on Facebook at Raw Talk, RAW Talk, and on YouTube at Real Ass Women Talk. Make sure you like and comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We are growing our channel, and it is for you. It is for mature adults. It is about relationships, and it's live for us and with us every Wednesday night live. Girlfriend Peggy and yours truly, me, Miss B. It has been wonderful. See you then. Love you, baby.